Hello all, from Danny, from Israel, Tel Aviv. I am putting this video because I want people, at least I can do what I can do to explain some things, and I will put it here also in YouTube and other places, that people that know me or people that are curious will know what's really happening. So the thing is, what is really the case? Since Israel 20 years ago, they went 21 years ago, something like this. They went out from Gaza, from Gaza Strip. The Hamas organization, like they say, like it was an election, and they took over. But the thing is that the Hamas organization is an organization that always wants to. His aim is to erase Israel from existence. Well, something that it can't do and no one can do. But for the last 21 years or something like this, especially 20 years, all the settlements and small places, villages, settlements, and cities or something that are half a mile or 1 mile or sometimes 10 miles from the border, they were suffering from all kinds of small rockets and rockets targeting. And every time Israel retaliated, sometimes there were situations when, and as soon as time passed, they got advanced. The rockets are primitive, but those primitive rockets, they slowly went bigger and stronger and more distant and more distance. And so there was a few actions, like there was there was in 2014 or 2012 or even before, and every time Israel was attacking and trying to attack, especially chirurgical attacks. In 2014, it was a more serious attack. It was a more serious action. It took 51 days. It's a long time. And also, beside the Air Force and the Navy, there were also Israel troops that went into Gaza, and there were some casualties and some two soldiers that they are dead, but they are keeping their bodies as a bargain. They always ask, even for dead bodies, they ask to be released. Hundreds of terrorists from the jails. That's what they want. Israel is for Israel people and family. It's very important. Also the bodies, like for any other, or the remains for every other cultural country. No country in the world will let this kind of situation happen. That many small cities or villages or something like this will have to endure such things, with stopping here and there, but during a few days, and after that another month, again a few days, or no country will tolerate it. Yes, imagine if it was another country. So this time what happened is, because it was a combination of something with Al-Aqsa and Jerusalem and some extremists, and it came out to be that and also Hamas there was supposed to be election. It's also political forces here, Hamas and the Abu Mazen from the Palestinian Authority, which are, it's like the same people, that it's in two different areas, but there was supposed to be election, and Abu Mazen postponed it with all kinds of excuses, because so the Hamas is very mad, and also with what happened something in Jerusalem, so they took they took a ride on it. They had to find an excuse or something, and they want to show for the people, the Palestinians, that they are doing something. They want to show. So Israel is also guilty, because Israel for a quite substantial number of years didn't retaliate strongly, or sometimes when there were attacks from Hamas, small attacks, they let them slide. But so the other side, like the Hamas or other Palestinian enemies, they took this kind of behaviors, like there is no, that like Israel is weak, like they don't have like it doesn't have the power or the motivation, not the power, it came out like Israel is weak. So what is now the situation is, Israel doesn't want to get in fights, so that's time. Many times they slide it off when it's something small from the Hamas. But now the Hamas began to shoot more, and they began to shoot also more. They advance. Now they are shooting also to 50 kilometers, 80 kilos, and like almost 90, 100 kilometers. Now they are showing off that they have something else that can go 250 kilometers. So they were beginning to try to attack, and Israel couldn't let that go. And the how should I say the word? So the deterrence, if I'm not mistaken, this is the word. So they took it like there is no deterrence for Israel, And what happened now that Israel they went into action, and what they said that this is going to be a serious action. So the Hamas, next time they will try to attack Israel, they will think very, very, very strong, not 10 times. They will think 100 times what they are going to lose and how much we will take them, how many years we will send them back. So in the beginning, Israel began to attack infrastructures, and we have also great information from inside there, and we have technological weapons from the best in the world, because Israel also invents special weapons, and they sell it even to other countries with how should I say, with a scientist, the how can I say, the Jewish mind, let's say. Yes, they have great inventions. So they began to attack infrastructures, and also through information. They began to attack houses of the commanders, different commanders and people that work with the Islamic Jihad and with the Hamas. They took down about 18 to 20 people that were all kinds of they were responsible, all kinds of commandants from the Hamas. Also they also took down the commander of the cyber services of the Hamas. We had precise information, and we took them. I mean, when I said we took them down, we killed them. Yes, like we knew exactly, because when they began to attack, the higher commandants, and most of them, they go on the ground like rats. So they have underground infrastructures, tunnels, and things like this. So they hide, and it's hard, and it's sometimes hard to find them like this. only if we go with the troopers inside. But Israel doesn't want so much to go with troopers, because last time we had some casualties, and every soldier that is casualty for us, it's very dear and very dear and expensive life to waste. It's a very dear. It's not like in many places, like in the terrorists, the Hamas, or that they don't care. They're using also their human population as shields. Sometimes they are putting all kinds of. Never mind. So what happened is that we began to attack, and they tried to. They shoot Tel Aviv with a lot of missiles. So what we have the Iron Dome. It's something that was done, built, and made better through the years by the Israeli people that work on weapons. And the funny thing is that if we didn't have the Iron Dome, then we would go, because we have the Iron Dome, which 90% of the missiles it took down. If we didn't have, the funny fact is that we have the Iron Dome, and that's what is the funny thing is, it's good for us, but it's good also for them, because that's why we are doing specific chirurgic attacks. Because if we didn't have the Iron Dome, and they will begin to do to Israel much damage, then Israel forces, especially the Air Force, they would, in that way, they would flatten a big part of Gaza in a very short time. Even a big part of the water, a big part of the electricity and gas and many other things, a big part of it that Israel is giving to them. You see the funny thing, it's a very complex situation, very complex. So the thing is that we began to when they shoot to Tel Aviv and other places, and there were we have a few like 7, 8 dead people, but this is from about 1,500 small missiles or bigger missiles that they shoot. So you see they shoot primitive missiles, and we also, most of them, we take them down. And now Israel is, for the last 2 days, they took a step up in the attacks, more severe. They took down a place like, which is like the IRS or treasure house, where they do all the finance of the Hamas, and they took it down. They took another tall building of the Hamas down. They took another tall building which they had information that there are all kinds of communications of the Hamas, and a central communication of the Hamas, and all kinds of weapons down in the basement of the house. So they took house, and when they take those powerhouses, those symbolical, let's say symbolical government houses and buildings, let's say more tall buildings, which are a symbol of the Hamas ruling in Gaza, it has also a very so when we are taking something like this down, it has a very, very strong symbolism, especially in front of the people from Gaza, which 90% or 95% of them, they would like to see the Hamas gone, but people there cannot speak their minds freely, because if it's something against the Hamas, or they find themselves in prison, or they will find themselves somehow also killed. In the next video, I will show you something from how the Israeli forces doing chirurgical target, and how they announce before that people that are in the, say, building to go away, that in 1 hour this building, let's say, would be demolished from the earth, from the face of the earth.